Hello everybody, what's going on? So today in this video there's actually some baby bass right here by this grass. It's pretty cool. But anyway, today in this video, as you can see by the title, we are filming in-depth episode. I believe this is either number 12 or number 13. I honestly can't remember. But we're out here today, and if you guys have followed the channel and my Facebook page, y'all know that I've been using this right here. This big, hang on a minute, let me over here in the shadow where y'all can see it a little bit better. This big bluegill swim bait. It's a 5-inch bluegill glide bait, and I've been actually catching quite a few fish on it, getting a lot of bites. And I actually went kayak fishing today, and I threw this probably 80% of the day and didn't get a single bite on this or the spinning rod that I brought. I brought a spinning rod with a wacky worm on it, just sort of for like a backup bait to use if, you know, a fish comes up and misses the bait or whatever. So this right here, what I'm doing right here is I'm actually kind of jigging the bait up and down. And just today, I'll be posting the picture on Facebook later on. But just today, I was actually out here and we got back from kayak fishing, didn't get a single fish. I told my dad, I said, watch this. I come out here on my 7th cast. I actually caught a fish, and it was about right there. The fish hit it, and it was only about maybe 4 inches under the water when he hit it. I actually watched him come up and just engulf the bait. Pretty cool. It's only about 1.5 pound fish, but that's something that we'll talk about here in a second, is not only do big fish hit these baits, but also small fish do as well. You know, you get an aggressive little bass, you know, somewhere around the 1.5 pound range, he will definitely hit this big swim bait. You know, if he's aggressive enough, they will hit it. A lot of people don't like these big baits because they think it scares the fish more than it does actually catch them. But that is very far from the truth. Even the little ones, even like the 1.5 pound, 2 pounders, will nail this bait. What I like about fishing this swim bait is it can go and you can catch 1 pounder on it, and then you can go and you can catch a 10 pounder on it. It's one of those type of baits, like a big worm, like one of them 8-inch or 10-inch worms. You can go and you can catch a giant fish on it, and you can catch small fish on it as well. That's what I like about this bait. Now you'll see that when I get it right here by the bank, I'll kind of give it short twitches and stuff, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to get any followers that maybe are out there in the water, because a lot of the time when you're fishing these big swim baits, you'll see big bass and small bass alike. They'll come up and they'll follow the bait. They'll just sit there and slowly swim behind the bait. They won't hit it, but they'll just sit there and watch it. And then when it twitches like that, sometimes it triggers them and they'll just nail it, just out of pure aggression and sort of a type of deal like, you know, they've been seen. Like the bluegill that they're chasing seen them, and it's either swim away or eat it. It's kind of a one or the other thing. It's either eat it or let it swim away and let it live. Every once in a while when I'm throwing a swim bait like this, even like the soft plastic swim baits, like the little, you know, even like a 2-inch or 1.5-inch swim bait that I make, you know, all the way up to these big, you know, glide baits. Every once in a while when you're giving it a quick retrieve, you always want to give it a quick snap with a rod tip. What that'll do is it'll kind of trigger that fish into hitting. It'll be a reaction strike. They'll either hit it or they won't. What I like to do, especially if I'm fishing a small pond, especially this one here, because I've actually already had this thing snagged up in this brush pile 3 different times in the past 3 days. I've had this swim bait snagged up in that brush pile, and I had to get my kayak in there to get it. So what I like to do is I like to keep my rod tip a little bit higher unless I'm fishing out in clear water where or not clear water, but I I guess it would be clear water, but clean water, you know, there's no giant brush piles or anything out there, then I'll fish it a little bit deeper and a little bit slower. But if I'm fishing it right up next to a brush pile, I'll fish it quick and I'll keep it moving up close to the surface the whole time. And that can save you from getting snagged. And sometimes the fish will come up and they'll hit it and they'll blow up on it. Almost like a wake bait. It's pretty cool. So I've only caught 3 fish on this bait. I caught one yesterday, one today, or no, I caught one Wednesday, I caught one today, and I caught another one on Wednesday. I caught 2 on Wednesday. I also caught a freshwater mussel. Some of you guys may have seen that video of the mussel that I caught on this bait. He actually bit the hook. I don't know why, but he did. Now something with this bait here, now I'll leave the link to this bait in the description because it's a eBay, like you can only get it on eBay. But it is a pretty cheap bait in glide bait standards. You know, you'll see a lot of baits like the S-Wavers, the Jackall Gantarel. You know, they're 30 bucks. You know, the S-Wavers, depends on the size you get. You know, the 68s are about 17 to 20 bucks. The 200s are around, like, I think they're close to 30, maybe even 40 bucks. Then, you know, the Jackall Gantarel, they're like 30 to 40 bucks. This one here is only 10. It's only 10 bucks. It's pretty cheap compared to most swim baits that you'll find on the internet. And that's why I like this bait. It's very realistic colors on it. I've watched a bunch of fish come up and just slowly watch this thing. Not even wanting to hit it, not wanting to eat it. They just slowly watch it. Then they'll nip at it or whatever. They won't eat it, but they'll just sit there and mess with it. Here soon, hopefully this week, I'll be able to get out and throw the giant swim bait, the big 7-inch shad that I got. I'm going to throw that next time I go fishing with my cousin and see if I can get a big one, because I know there's some big ones in that pond. I'm going to see if I can get a big one. That'll be pretty cool. But how I like to fish this bait, like I was saying, if I'm fishing around brush or tree limbs or grass, especially like submergent grass that isn't really very high up in the water column, I'll throw it up with my rod tip up in the air, and if a fish hits it, you know, most of the time when they hit it, when they're up in the air like that, it'll bust and you'll be able to see it. With a bait like this, something I've noticed is the 3 fish that I've caught on it, they hit it like freight trains. The fish that I caught here Wednesday evening, you guys may have seen that on Facebook if you follow my Facebook. If you haven't, real quick, I figured I'd say, if you haven't checked out my Facebook, make sure you do, because a lot of the times I'll catch fish on baits or whatever, and I won't have a camera with me, or I won't have my YouTube channel camera with me, and I won't be able to make videos of it, so I'll take pictures of it and I'll post it on there for y'all to see. So go check out my Facebook if you haven't already. But anyway, that fish that I posted on Facebook, I was out there casting to it, out there by that brush, just slowly reeling it along that edge of the brush, and that fish hit it so hard from the, basically it would be the opposite side of the brush. They hit it so hard that it pushed the bait all the way up into the brush pile, and I had to pull the bait and the fish out of the brush pile. I was really worried that I was going to either lose the fish or lose the bait. I was more worried about losing the bait than anything. Even though this is only a $10 bait, which to some people is expensive and to some people it's not. To me, $10 is kind of a normal price. I'm used to paying 10 bucks for a bait. You know, but some people, you know, 10 bucks is crazy, outrageous price. You know, that's why I normally keep it up in the water column around those brush piles and stuff, so I won't lose it or anything. Something I like about this bait in particular is you don't really need a specific setup to throw it. If you have a normal bait caster, and sometimes you don't even need a bait caster with these baits. If you have a pretty decently heavy spinning rod, you can get away with it. I've thrown this on a spinning rod, never caught anything because it was the middle of November, and I was honestly just kind of seeing how the action was on it. Wasn't really fishing with it, but you can definitely get away with it. But this here is my setup. I got my Granite Outdoors bait caster, Berkley Lightning rod, 20-pound monofilament. That's what I got it set up on. If you guys learn anything in this video, please let me know, because I love to hear if you guys learned anything in this video. Now, a lot of people like musky Hans, they use these glide baits for musky, and I'm sure this will work. The actual bluegill, or the actual eBay post says that it's a bluegill, or a bluegill swim bait for musky and bass, and I'm sure that a musky will probably hit this. I wouldn't have any doubt in my mind that a big musky would probably hit this. But we don't have any muskie around here, at least none that I can think of, and no places around here that I know of that has them. So I use it for bass, and I've definitely had a lot of hits from big bass with this. Something I like about throwing these baits is, like I said at the beginning of the video, is you just never know if it's going to be a giant, 10-pounder when it hits, or if it's going to be a little, 1-pounder. That's why I like throwing these baits, is because it can go from one cast being a 1-pounder, the next cast being a 10-pounder. Something you can do with this bait to give it a little bit more of a natural swimming action is just slow roll it. Super slow. Cast it out there and just really slowly reel it. Like this right here. Every once in a while you can give it a quick turn to the handle, and what that'll do is it'll kind of trigger the fish into either biting or swimming away. Ooh, one just swiped at it. I don't know if the camera caught that. I've barely seen it. That was pretty cool. That's something that you'll learn when you're throwing these bigger swim baits, is you'll get a lot of followers. You'll not get a whole lot of hits, but you'll get a lot of followers. And basically a follower is just a fish that wanted to check out your bait, see what it was. So, I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys learned something new in this video. I definitely enjoyed making this video. I love throwing these big swim baits because you never know when your hit's going to come and how big the fish can be. That's what I love throwing in these big swim baits for. I'm going to go, hopefully, I'm going to talk to my cousin here probably either today or tomorrow, and talk to him and see if he's going fishing anytime this week. And I'm probably going to end up taking that giant 7-inch shad swim bait, the giant 7-inch glide bait, and see if I can catch a giant with it. That would be awesome if I could. It's going to take a pretty decent sized bass, I think, to hit a 7-inch swim bait. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Facebook, and you'll be able to see if I caught anything with this swim bait today, or catch any other fish today. I'm going to post a picture of that fish that I caught earlier today with this bait on Facebook later on. So, thank you guys for watching. Bye.